They have like a really good pose like here and a good pose like this. But in between, it may just be kind of sloppy and real quick, but it gives it that sense of movement, you know? So, so it's okay if some of your drawings on the in-betweens aren't perfect because they're flying past you at like 24 frames per second. And, you know, and I know that was one of your questions, or at least the questions I got was, maybe that was something. Let's see, what is, no.
Yeah,
Did you ask me?
How many frames per second does it take to make something look real?
Yeah, you can actually, to look real.
Like with blinking, like how many frames would it take for you to draw someone blinking? Because I know you would have to draw the full eye and then it half closed, and then it completely closed. Like, how long would that take?
Actually, blinking's just 2 frames. Yeah, the key to blinking is holding the pause long enough that people could tell a blink happened. So you might go like, you might close it and then you hold it 2 frames here and then open back up. Because if I just did 1 frame on, 1 frame, or 1 frame open, 1 frame closed, and then back open again, it may happen so fast that I don't see what happens.
Yeah.
But if I do 1 frame where I draw the eye open, the very next frame I draw the eye closed, and then I just hold that frame for 2 or 3 frames, and then I open back up, it's going to be fine. Because even when, like, I just watched you blink, and so I don't see, you know, I see open, close, right? So we blink so fast, it's not something that I'm going to catch, you know. I'm sorry, now self-conscious about your blink. Yeah, so, yeah, very good, Jess. There you go. Yeah. So, yeah, so some things, when you want something to happen fast, it takes less frames. When you want something to happen slow, you have lots of little frames in between, and it feels like slow motion, right? So anyway, okay. Do you want me to start going through these, or do you want to just keep asking?
Would, please.
Sure. Okay. Also, like, I've tried animation once or twice because I have a animation program on a different computer. And whenever I've tried with eyes, like open and closing, it's been really slow.
Oh, really?
One of the reasons why I asked that question, yeah.
It may be, like if it's an animated GIF program or something like that, it may be just holding the frame too long, you know?
Yeah.
Or are you drawing more than just 2 frames?
I'm drawing way more than 2.
Oh, okay. Well, that's why. Yeah. So you're actually blinking in slow motion then. So, which is fine. I mean, maybe you're just really tired. So, okay, I've got, what other skills do you need to know and have to get better at for animation?
Yeah.
So animators, like if you're wanting to be a character animator, animators are like ham actors. You know, all my drama students are really good at animating characters, because you're really, even if it's like a cup of tea or whatever, and it's got to come to life and act out, you know, you've got to be able to know how to act a little bit. So it's worth, even if you don't join an acting class or you don't join a acting troupe or whatever, to watch stuff about how actors think and how actors do stuff, okay? Because you want to be able to put yourself in the mind of, you know, a lonely dry erase marker, you know, and what does that look like? And if the top's going to come off, you know, maybe it can move in certain ways that the gestures create certain emotions and stuff like that. So, and all that comes from not knowing how to draw a marker, but knowing how a person in love would feel, you know? And so you got to make the marker feel like it's in love. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So
I like acting. Acting is really, really fun.
Oh, well, you're going to love that animating then.
I tell my sister stories every once in a while, like every night, and I actually act like the characters, and we have so much fun doing it. one of the reasons why is because we would be on one subject at one time, and then like 2 seconds later be on a completely different thing.
Yeah, that's good. My acting scares my students because they don't know if I'm serious or not. So, you know. Okay, what inspires you to animate? Well, man, once you do it, it's addictive because you brought something to life, and I mean, this is going to sound strange, but don't take it in the wrong way, but it's like becoming like a mini god because like you are in control of a universe that you create and you can make everything happen. And the life that you create, you control it right down to its every breath. So, you know, I don't know, I guess people with God complexes really get attracted to animation. You know? So, but I think it's just seeing your artwork come to life. It's unbelievable. So, let's see what else we got. Okay, so it says how would you animate something in 3D? So first with 3D, you have to learn how to model it, right?
Yeah.
And then you've got like a structure, and then you have to learn how to rig it. And rigging is in 3D, everything is kind of like a puppet. It's got a bone structure in it, and then you're just moving those bones around, and everything on the model is reacting to it on the outside. So that's why when you see that if they're modeling an arm, you might see them model the muscle structure underneath, because when those muscle structures are actually attached to the rig inside, or the bone structure. So if I move the arm, you'll see parts of the arm move that would typically move if I like move the wrist or move things down, right? Things that tighten here and loosen here. So, that's like 3D is so enormous that they have departments of everybody that does stuff. So you have a department of people who model. You got a department of people who rig and put the bone structure in. Then you have animators who don't even do any of that, and they just move it around like a puppet, right? So, and then you have the people who are like insane math geniuses and do the rendering and try to figure out how to get everything done in time. Well, yeah, and that's boring. That's the job you don't want. So, but if you're interested in a 3D software that's free for PCs and Macs, let me copy this and I'm going to send it to you here.
Thanks. I've been wondering, like, how would you get the models? I'm probably never going to do 3D animation, but I was just wondering that, you know, just because, like, how do they do How to Train Your Dragon animation, you know, just for fun?
Yeah, they draw a profile, like a profile of the character. They draw a front drawing of the character, and then they take it and they put it like kind of like a you know, like an X, but it looks like this inside the modeling thing, so that they can then move the 3D structures around it and match it up to the drawings. So you can still be a character designer and draw in fact, all the characters come from drawings first, and then the modelers come in and model out kind of sculpt it in 3D. So, and there's actually some really cool stuff happening now where people are going into virtual reality and sculpting in virtual reality with their hands.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and that's actually easier than using a mouse, and
Yeah.
it's kind of crazy. So okay, I just sent the link, and it's to Blender, and that will take you to Jonathan, will this keep, like, will that link keep on here afterwards, or?
Yeah, I'm storing all of this in notes that I'm taking.
Okay, great.
So.
Okay. So there you got that. And there's another one if you want to do 2D animation. This one's called Krita, and it's kind of like a Photoshop thing. Let me see. It's kind of like an anime Photoshop. Yeah. So, but it has 3D or has 2D animation in it. So, and Krita is also PC and Mac.
Those are like softwares for animation, right?
Yeah, and those are both free.
Oh, okay. I have an animation software right now called Adobe Animate.
Oh my gosh. You don't need any of this stuff. Stick with Animate. Yeah, hold on a second. Now you got me talking. This is what I teach. So, okay, so let me get you this. This is the 12 Principles of Animation. And this is the guy. Have you ever seen Animator versus Animation?
No, I have not.
Okay, it's like a little stick figure kind of guy. And he takes over a Windows platform computer and they start throwing like folders and icons at each other and stuff. Well, he also has a really good YouTube channel that has a lot of good tutorials. But the thing I just sent you was the 12 Principles of Animation. And the first thing my students have to animate are the 12 Principles of Animation so that they learn they just learn everything they need to know about animation. Now that actually comes from a book called, I don't know if you can see this, but it's called The Illusion of Life. And that's from Frank and Ollie. And they were two of the 9 old men that Disney hired to do all the great animations like Pinocchio and Cinderella and Snow White and all that stuff. And they were called the 9 old men, not because they were old. They were actually really young. But they were always giving Disney a hard time because he's like really lofty, you know. And they were like, we got to be practical and we got to get this done, you know, and all that stuff. And so he saw, you guys are just old men, you know. And so it kind of stuck. And so that's a good one. And if you're looking for, like, this may be a couple years down the road, but a lot of this stuff is also free online. But the Animator Survival Guide.
Okay.
There we go, right there.
Animators. Oh.
The Animator Survival Guide. And that is by Richard Williams. And it's got, like, all sorts of, you know, how things work. And,
Yeah.
like, there's a walk cycle from a 3/4 view. With the guy swinging his hips. So, I mean, if that's what you need, it's right there, you know. But it just talks about timing, and there's a lot of really good stuff in there.
That's cool.
Yeah. So, you know, we get this, and my students look through that in the second year when they've already done like a basic walk cycle and some jumping and squashing and stretching and things like that. So, let's see, what else do we got?
Just for fun, when I was experimenting, my sister wrote like a funny little comic of stick figures, and one of them, the stick figure was falling. So I animated a stick figure falling. He was kind of falling like like in a half circle instead of just plummeting straight down.
Actually, that's good because when you one of the principles of animation is arcing. So if I were to just like if I was waving at you, or let's say as I was moving my arm towards you, right, to grab something. If I just go straight like this is very boring, right? But if I come like this, that's my hands moving in an arc around the edge here, right? So it's more interesting if you animate to arcs, and so instead of your character just falling boom straight down, that's it, right? If it came down, there's like you're building anticipation, which is also another principle, and then you could have stretching and squashing and blah, you know, and so those are all good things to get audience attention, you know. So let's see what. How would you?
And Chris, we're coming up on 5 minutes here.
Oh wow!
Based on the timeline you gave me,
I could probably go a little longer.
Okay.
Woo!
Okay, that we got the 3D. How would you animate things like camera shakes? Okay, and so you're in Animate. I think Animate has like a little camera thing now. Like
Hmm.
the latest version has like an actual camera I think you can bring in. I've never used it, so I don't know.
Me neither.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
just need to have one day where I get into that program and just experiment and do random stuff. Like, see,
Yeah.
what does this do?
Yeah,
I did that, like,
I
yeah.
think what that does is you can animate the camera itself, and it will view what you animate. So it's kind of like you're animating stuff here, and then now you got this camera, and you get to animate it out here. So if it's like After Effects and the other 3D programs, you can set up cameras to do that. So
That's cool.
so
Right.
And incidentally, there's a software kit by Video Copilot that you can drop into After Effects and Premiere and a few other softwares that includes a plugin called Camera Shake. And they have like 14 different camera shakes that you can just drop into your animation, and it just shakes the camera up like that. Like Star Trek when they get hit by a photon torpedo, and it's like, it animates that.
yeah, so you might look to see, they may even have something like that for Animate already that you can just drop in. Most anything you want to know how to do, somebody else has probably already done it because they needed to know how to do it. And it's real handy to steal, so it's helpful. I mean, that sound inappropriate, stealing stuff? So, I don't know. Okay.
Cheska's frozen, so Cheska, are you still with us?
Oh, did we lose her?
Hopefully she didn't get that stealing part. Stealing the knowledge, not the actual
Yeah,
art.
that's the last thing.
That's really important. Yeah,
Borrow and share.
yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much, Chris. You were amazing.
Sure. So did she jump off at 30 because, well, we're not quite there. We're about 3 minutes. Does she lose, connection?
Oh, she would never.
Her connection, yeah, no way. She would ask you questions till the cows came home.
They live in kind of a rural area, and their internet connection is tenuous, so probably her connection dropped or something like that. So
Okay.
we'll give her a couple of minutes, and if she doesn't come back, we can.
Okay, that's fine. See, how does movement affect shading? Where do you start?
Or who knows, maybe my sister's phone battery died because she's not texting me.
Yeah. I would say probably call her, John, because you may have a connection issue that would take more than 5 minutes to troubleshoot.
These are good questions.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, she's just really on fire about learning this stuff. So
The other interesting thing is she's interviewing other artists, like on her own, going out and interviewing artists that she admires and posting the results. So yeah, I'm thinking.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she's connected with the creators of Undertale and been like, I really love your work. Can I share this stuff? Can I animate the individual sequences of it? So I mean, I wasn't taking that much initiative when I was her age. That's pretty impressive.
Man, we only had one book in the Tulsa library about animation when I was a kid.
Are you serious?
Yeah, everybody had already drawn in the corners, and I mean, so it was kind of a shared community book, I guess. But back then, if you wanted to contact somebody, you wrote a letter and you waited. And
yeah, no, for real.
Yeah,
patience.
Yeah, I had no idea if it'd even get to them, So kind of just wait. Wow.
All right, so I am guessing that her phone has run out of charge here. So I really appreciate you taking the time, man.
Sure. Yeah, I wouldn't mind if she had more questions and wanted to do this again another day. I could probably do it, I guess, tomorrow. If she wanted to finish this up, we could do that. 3:15, same time.
Okay.
I mean, you can run that by her. Is she am I getting her out of school early for this, or is she okay?
No, she goes to a co-op, a homeschool co-op. So.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, and her mom is one of the teachers.
Oh, I am art school.
You are art school for the week.
That's awesome. I like that.
But yeah, she said, sorry about that. My mom's phone just died. We're trying to reconnect and get it to charge. Thank you for spending the time. or thank you for allowing me to spend time with you and Chris. So I'll just tell her you're available again tomorrow, and I'll let you know via Facebook if she is. So.
Hey, Chris.
That's cool. Yeah. Okay, that works for me. And
Dean also does Facebook Live, so if you're ever interested in doing a live interview with your artwork in the background.
She does. I can do a Facebook Live with just one person like that, or like Zoom.
I don't know. It's something I could look into, but I didn't want to say anything to her without asking you if you'd be okay with that.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, I've actually got a couple pieces here right now, so tomorrow would be great because.
Let me see if we can work out the tech, but.
Okay.
That's cool.
Yeah. This
so yeah, having the background and be like, hey, this is what I do.
Yeah. I got it all in my office right over there, so I could just pull it out. Wouldn't be a problem.
Cool.
Rockin'. Yeah. But thanks again. This probably made her month, I would say.
Oh, cool. No problem. I enjoyed it. So I just leave meeting.
Yep.
Okay. See you guys later. Bye-bye.
We need to get together sometime. That'd be fun.